Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Econ Time and we are going to do some exercise in part 4 of chapter 5. So this exercise can be found in the lecture notes. So take out the lecture notes of chapter 5. You should be able to find this. So we all know that to calculate GDP through the expenditure approach, we add consumption, investment, government spending, and net export. So that is the formula. We add them and then we get GDP. So this is the a few real cases. Let's see. So whenever the cases over here that doesn't say anything about time, it is assumed that it is the activity occurred during 2019. Okay, so let's take a look at case number 1. American consumer bought a Ford car made in Michigan for $30,000. Now, American consumer that tells you it is for consumption, right? So that's why we enter the value under consumption, 30,000. And because of that, GDP in 2019 also increased by 30,000. All right, good. Are you good? Okay, let's take a look at the second one. A Ford factory located in Pittsburgh just finished assembling a Ford car with inventory value 26,000. What do you think? So the hint here is inventory. The company just finished that, so it is under changes in inventory. Remember, it equals to production minus sales, so it is the production. The case over here doesn't say anything about it's being sold yet or not. It's actually just finished assembling. So because of that, we added under inventory. Okay, so that's why GDP goes up by 26,000. The next one is a Ford have been made in Mexico with the inventory value 23,000. What do you think? Well, it's being made. It is in the inventory. However, it's made in Mexico. It's not being made inside the United States. So because of that, it's not affected. We don't enter this into our US GDP because it is a GDP. Okay, very good. Next, President Trump received $400,000 as the president's yearly salary. Vice President Pence received $230,700 as yearly salary. What do you think? Who pays them? The federal government, isn't it? So that is actually the government spending. Remember we talked about this. President Trump and Vice President Pence, both of them are households. They got elected as the president, so they offer their presidential service. We consume their service, right? So that is the value of that service. So it should be entered here. Okay, so President Trump's salary and Vice President's salary, add them up, we enter that into GDP. Next, Raft River Power Company, located in Idaho, buys a large generator from a Norwegian-owned factory located in New Hampshire for $5 million. Okay, let's see. This is a company, so it's a private firm, first of all. Secondly, they buy a large generator. Generator is a machine, so it is a equipment, right? Is this equipment made in the United States? Norwegian-owned factory located in New Hampshire. New Hampshire is in the United States. Okay, so what are we going to do? So since the machine is made inside the US and a company, a firm, purchased it, this is a new capital. so it should be under investment. Okay, so investment increased by 5 million, GDP should increase by 5 million too. Yeah, so it looks like this. Okay, all right. Case number 6. The U.S. Air Force pays a Turkish citizen $30,000 to work on a U.S. base in Turkey. U.S. Air Force, what is that? The government, isn't it? So under government, we add 30K. Okay. Well, is GDP increased by 30K then? Well, take a look. That is a Turkish citizen, and that US base is in Turkey. So this is actually a import service. So it's not made inside the United States. That's why we have to minus 30K in there. Some students commented on here. They says that, but a U.S. base in Turkey is actually U.S. territory because, you know, for the administration. Well, that is a political definition. However, in economics, that base is in the territory of Turkey. It is still considered as make outside the United States. So because of that, we need to say that is an import. Okay, very good. Next, an American student buys a 500 computer in the US. Now this is for consumption use, right? Therefore, under consumption, we are going to add $500. Okay, from a North Korean owned company, okay, operating in Switzerland. Oh, that means this computer in fact is made in Switzerland. It's not made in the United States. So because of that, under import, we need to take that out. Okay, so our GDP is not going to be affected. Do you understand? Very good. Okay, next. Mark purchased 10 shares of Google at the price of $40 per share last year. He sold 5 shares last month at the price of $401 and keeps the other 5 shares. What do you think? Do you remember what are not included in GDP? Financial securities. These are financial securities. It's showing Mark try to be holding 10 shares of Google, so he is a very small partial owner of Google, and then later on he sold 5 shares. He still have 5 shares, so those are ownership. Ownership of a firm is not final goods and services. So because of that, they are not in GDP. Number 9, Georgia state government spent $5 million on maintaining a toll road. What do you think? Government, isn't it? Georgia government, so it's a government spending. Okay, so it has collected 90,000 toll the same year. Who pays 90,000? Consumers, right? We pay that. So it is under consumption. Yep, so that is the total. Okay. All right, next. Justin buys a new car he paid $22,000 for in 2018. He installed a car GPS navigation system, cost him $500 in 2018. He sells the car in 2019 for $20,500. What do you think? Well, we're talking about 2019, right? This car was new in 2018, so it's been counted into 2018's GDP. But we are counting 2019, so that car is considered as a used car in 2019, so we don't count that. The GPS when he bought it, when it was new, it was actually counted under consumption in 2018, but now we are in 2019. Well, how about he sells his car, in total, have the car and the GPS for this amount of money. Well, that is a car exchanging the hands. It's not new for 2019. So because of that, it's not going to affect GDP in 2019. Do you get it? Well, as long as it's a used product, it's not going to be counted. Okay? Okay. Number 11, and an international student pays Delta Airline 1,000 for flight ticket, pays university this amount of tuition and fees, pay the dorm 8,000, purchase a meal plan, and a health insurance. All right. All of these spendings from an international student counts under exports. It is a U.S. export because it's a foreigner who consume American goods. So as a matter of fact, all of the travel, tourism, when people come to the United States, all of the money that they spend actually counts as our export in here. So all you need to do is to put all of the values in here, add them up, and that is how much GDP will increase due to this export. Okay? Next, Sweet Pie buys 10 bushels of apple for $200. Sweet Pie used the apple to bake apple pies that are sold for $500 to consumers. What do you think? Now, $500 is sold to consumers. That is under consumption, right? How about this? 10 bushels of apple for $200. That is intermediate good, isn't it? Because this apple turned out to be apple pies. So because of that, intermediate good doesn't count, and we only add $500 under consumption. So because of that, GDP goes up by $500. Okay. Next, Rachel buys a bushel of apple for $20 and uses apple to make pie for her family. What do you think? This apple is for the family's consumption, isn't it? So because of that, the $20 is for her to consume, and GDP goes up by $20, isn't it? Very good. Last one. China purchased 50 million soybeans from USA. What do you think? That is USA's export, isn't it? So because China purchased it from USA, so 50 million export. Okay, 10 million soybeans from Brazil. That is Brazil's export. It has nothing to do with US GDP, isn't it? So because of that, US GDP goes up by 15 million. Okay, all right. So I'm going to pose questions under bonus chapter 5 GDP components regarding these 14 questions. Some of them may be slightly different, but if you understand this, you should you should know how to work that out too. Okay, I'm going to stop here for this part. I'll see you in the next part. Bye.